Morning, and thank you for joining in another information session hosted by All Control and SICK. My name is Sydney King, and I'm an application engineer and SICK product specialist at All Control. Today we have SICK's own specialist, application engineer Sandeep Samasundaran, who will be discussing the W10, the new W10 sensor from SICK, the world's first photoelectric sensor with touchscreen display-enabled sensor and refined user interface, allowing for simple operation. And also a few other new sensors, such as distance sensor, the DT80, the new CSS color sensor, and also the next generation W4S sensor from SICK. For those of you who are unfamiliar with SICK, they are a manufacturer specializing in sensor intelligence, including vision inspection, but also sensing, automation identification, and safety sensor technologies used in all manufacturing and industries throughout the world. All Control is the local technical resource and distributor for SICK, and we have represented SICK for the past, I'd say, 30 plus years. And we have a group of sales and application engineers locally to assist with any and all automation applications, basically. So if there's anything we talked about today that you'd like to see in person, just let us know, and we can, make that happen either at a facility or at your facility, or actually at All Control admin office here. We have a very nice setup at the office. We also have a large inventory of demonstration equipment, including the sensors that we will be discussing today, and many products that we can use to test out, to prove out your solutions for your future application. Just so you know, our goal with these information sessions is just to offer some value to our customers by getting the word out about new products and technologies out in front of you as they become available to us. So please keep in mind, these are not, these are just informal sessions. So feel free to chat in your questions and comments at the right-hand corner of your screen. And as we go along, we can kind of get answers at the end of the session. So at this time, not to take too much time, I'll go ahead and introduce Sandeep from SICK. You can go ahead and start the presentation. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. So hey everyone, just wanted to check. Can everyone hear me okay? If I could get a thumbs up, that would be good.
We can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yep, you're all good.
Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to this webinar. My name is Sandeep Somasundaran, and I'm the application engineer or product specialist with SICK. I handle all the photoelectric sensors, encoders, and industrial instrumentation products. So today, we'll be talking about 4 products, which are our latest and greatest. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is our latest sensor, which is called the W10. And as you can see on the screen, this sensor is completely touchscreen. So there's no buttons anywhere on the sensor. And it's very intuitive in terms of like setting up the sensor, right? Some of the main unique selling points for the sensors are that it's pretty simple. It's the world's first touchscreen interface without any buttons for setting up the sensor, and it's very intuitive in terms of I'll show the same to you all later on. That when you try to move and check the menu, it's pretty straightforward to set it up. It's streamlined because it has a lot of variants. It's like consolidating many variants into one sensor. And what I mean by that is, in the sensor, you can also do background suppression and foreground suppression. And also you can set up your pin 2 and pin 4 to PNP, NPN, or push-pull. And there's 3 modes in the sensor called fast, standard, and precise as well. And the last is secure, because I know since it's touch, a lot of times you'll be wondering if someone can mess with the sensor. They cannot. You can lock the sensor and no one would be able to play with it, right? So now there's 2 variants in the sensor, the short range and the long range. As you can see on the screen, on the left you have, it starts from 25, which is the minimum offset. One variant goes out to 700 millimeters, and the second one goes out to 400 millimeters. It's class 1 laser, so it's safe. It has 3 modes in it, which can solve pretty much all the applications. And then you can configure, like I mentioned, this sensor to background suppression or foreground suppression. It's made of 316L stainless steel, and it's IP69K, so it's very robust. It's got a dual color LED on top. The one on the orange says the output is on. The other one is that the sensor is on. And then its user interface, completely touch. It has two digital outputs. It has IO link, and it comes with an M12 connection. Okay. Can everyone see the screen on the sensor?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So as you can see, what you see in the sensor is the live distance that you get. Now, if I move my hand, you can see the distance increases or reduces, right?
Sandeep, do you want to switch your screen to that view so we can see it bigger?
Change the camera, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So as you can see, when I move my hand, you can see the live distance that you can see on the sensor, right? Now, this is where you go, like you swipe and then you have multiple options. So when I swipe for the first time, you can see there is a mode. Now, when I click on mode, you can see there are three options on the sensor. The guy who's running, it's called the speed mode. The second one is the standard mode. And the third one is precision. So the difference here is speed mode is for applications which are pretty fast, where you need high response time. Standard mode is for all the normal applications where there is nothing which is unique, like you need fast response time, or if the background is very close to the object. So pretty much 90% of the applications you should be able to solve with the standard mode. And then we have the precision mode, which is the last one. This is for precise applications where, say, you have an object which is 1 millimeter thick, and on the background, you have something which is metallic or shiny, and you need to suppress that. So for such applications, we suggest to use the precision mode, right? And then at the bottom, you can see you have Q1, Q2. Now, when I click on Q1, you have the option of light on or dark on that you can select depending on what you want. And then if I go to light on, then you have three outputs that you can get. You have the PNP, NPN, and push-pull that you can select from the options. I've just clicked on PNP. If I go one more notch up, you have the teach and you have the settings. If I go to settings, you can see you have the background suppression and you have the foreground suppression. And you can choose between both depending on the application. And then you have the teach option where you have single point teach and 2-point teach. And then you have the manual mode as well that you can select. Now, if I do, say, for example, 2-point teach, I'll give you guys a demo where I can show you what the sensor is capable of. Okay, so let me. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So what I'm trying to do is I have a washer with me, which is probably like 0.5 millimeters or 0.8, 0.5 to 1 millimeter thick. And then I have a shiny background. And say, for example, if you want to detect this washer on this plate, you can do it with the sensor on the precision mode that I explained. Um, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to mode, and I'm clicking on the precision mode. And then I go to teach, to the 2-point teach. I'm teaching it on the object. And then I'm teaching on the background. So you can see the orange LED is off, which means the output is not on. When I get the washer in, you can see the output is on. And it's pretty stable all across the washer. Does any of you have any tough applications like this, or have any applications that you can think of right now? And similarly, I have this chocolate bar, which is pretty shiny. And I want to detect this and get a stable output through and through. So again, if I do this, go to the precision mode. I also wanted to show you guys the SOPAS interface that we have. Just a second. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the GUI of the sensor. And here you can see a couple of things like the live data in terms of the distance. You can see the current measured value, where you can see that. And then here you have 4 outputs that you can get via IO link if you have the flexibility to use the IO link. And then you have the status of all the outputs. Now, if you go to configuration, basic settings, here you can have the pin 2, where you can select PNP and PN or push pull, as I showed on the display. And similarly on pin 4 as well, you can select PNP and PN or the push pull. And you have the local user interface lock, where you can lock the screen so that the operators or no one can mess with the sensor once you install it on your shop floor. And if you go to the connection options, you have the process data that you can select. So if you go to the enhanced sensing, here you have the options in terms of the output. You have the single point, 2-point, foreground suppression, and the window mode. So window mode is you set a window, and when the object goes through that window, you get an output. And the window mode could be configured only through Scopus. Right. And similarly, you can do the settings with all the 4 outputs if you need them on Scopus. And these are the 3 different detection modes that I was talking about. And here you can select speed, standard, or precision. And you have the smart task here where you have basic logic gates like AND or SOR that you can set up if you want to do like a local level field logic. If you want one output of 2 sensors, you can do that, and you can offload that from the PLC. So it's a smart sensor. Then here you have the diagnostics where you get to know what's the temperature on the sensor and how many operating hours has it been on. So on. So that's all I had. Do you guys have any questions on the sensor?
So I don't see any questions coming in on the chat, but I'd just like to kind of just reiterate what Sandy was just kind of saying. The whole idea for this sensor is it's got all these capabilities. It's one sensor that you can basically use to pretty much standardize a ton of your applications in your applications that you have at your facilities. One sensor for various applications, standardizing it. So you have a sensor, basically you can do a foreground suppression mode, you can do your background suppression mode, and the IP69K for your washdown applications. I know this very, very good description is, just 4 part number instead of having a situation where you're trying to find a part number for a sensor for an application. You're going through an entire list of tens, if not hundreds of part numbers. You only have 4 part numbers to pretty much choose from. Basically the difference being, as far as choosing something that has a 700 millimeter range or 400 millimeter range. And then also the face of the sensor, you have the mounting. Basically, you have your hybrid mount, which has a nose for most applications in the US. And then also the mount where it's flat, where you want to mount your sensor in a different way. So pretty much just 4 part numbers to choose from. And it has the IO link capabilities as well. The response times is fantastic, as low as fast as 200 milliseconds for most applications when you have it on speed mode. So these are all the different things that you have built in one sensor to pretty much standardize your sensing needs.
Okay, so if no one has any questions, I'll go to the next sensor and give a couple of minutes. Guys, have any questions?
Also, whilst it's doing that, I would like to say we encourage you guys. This is actually a sensor that I actually have at the office. Again, I'm one of the application engineers at All Control, so we can actually come out to your facility and do a demo and show you how it works. With your particular application that you can have. I've already done quite a few as it is. And so please feel free to reach out to your sales guys. I'll be more than happy to come in and demo this exact same product for you.
Okay, so I think I'll get to the next sensor. So the
Yep.
next sensor that we have, anyone have any questions?
No, I didn't see anything come in.
Okay. All right, so the next one that we're going to talk about is our color sensor. And this is one of our latest color sensor that has come out. And it comes in 2 variants, as you can see on the top. It is the high speed variant and the high resolution. And the high-speed variant has a switching frequency of 13.8 kilohertz, so it's pretty fast. And then the high resolution sensor has LAB, which means that it has very high resolution that it can detect even the difference in shades of the same color. It's very precise. And one of the main benefits is that the range of these sensors starts from 50 millimeters to 500. Now, and if you mount it at any range from 50 to 500, the sensor automatically can detect and work. And on the objects with, say, monochromatic colors, we would go with the high resolution one. And if it's different colors, we would go with the high speed, and also for like high speed applications. Now, I can show the sensor that I have with me. This is the sensor. Not sure if you guys can see. And let me just connect this to my laptop. Just give me like a minute.
I can also chime in as Sandy is doing that. As far as the color sensors, normally with color sensors, sensing ranges are kind of anywhere between 25 millimeters or less, 13 millimeters or 50. It's this is one of the first or one of the sensors actually out there with pretty much a longer sensing range that you can up to 50 millimeters. So that's kind of unique in what this new CSS high resolution sensor brings to the table. So again, this is also a sensor that I have with me that I'll be more than happy to bring out to anyone's facility and prove out some of their higher resolution or higher color application sensors. I'm trying to detect shiny and color applications that they might potentially have. I think Sandy is actually back up again.
So this is again our software, which is freely downloadable from the website. What I'm doing right now is I just connected the color sensor to my laptop. And once you connect it, it detects the device. And then once it goes online, you can log into the device and then configure. Okay, can you all see the screen, the video? Awesome. So as you can see, this is the GUI of Sopus of the color sensor. Now the sensor is looking at the table, which is brown, so you can actually see the live color as well. I have different cards here. I have a black card, which I moved in. So it's saying black, and then I have my key fob but it says that color too, and then I have a white card. It should tell you the color is white. So a couple of things you can do with the sensors that you have the switching output, where you can get again 4 outputs via IO-Link. This sensor also comes in 8-pin variants where you can get 4 digital outputs. It also comes in 5-pin variant where you can get 2 digital outputs, and if you want more outputs, you can get it over IO-Link. Now, if I go to the configuration, a couple of things I wanted to show you guys is that you have the best fit mode, and you have the color mode and color plus intensity mode and color mode, which helps you in detecting, different shades of the same color as well. And then if you go to the teach-in, you have this option where you have sensitivity, which is the color matching value of the object that you teach in. So you have 2 types of teach-in, single value teach and multi-value teach. Single value teach is for colors which are monochromatic. Multi-value teach is if it's not monochromatic and if you have multiple colors, and if you wanted to get an average of all those colors and get an output. Now I can put this as black and do single. So you can see the output is on, it's off, it's off. And if I want to add the color on, like say for example, I can each say white. See, it's on, it's off. It's off. And another feature which is pretty good with the color sensor is that you have the settings where you can drop. Now I've thought 2 colors. Now I can drag this and put it to any output I want. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And these are the different outputs. These are the pin settings where you have on pin 2, you can get an output on pin 5 as well. So this is an overview I wanted to give on color sensors. Does anybody have any questions?
Feel free to type in your questions, guys. Like I said earlier in the intro, these are just informal presentations. We're just trying to get you, get our customers to see some of our newest products that we have out there, get out to you as soon as they come out. And so please, by all means, if you have any questions that you want to type in or ask out, you can just let us know, and we can get some answers for you.
I'll just give a couple of questions, couple of minutes if you guys come
I
up
don't
with
see
any
any questions coming in. And Sadi, can you kind of touch on maybe some of the applications that they can kind of use the color sensors for? Because that might be something that would be helpful.
Yep. So it's used for applications where basically you just want to get if you want to detect multiple colors, that's the main application. And if you have I've seen this used in like the example over there on the left, seeing different colors of the boxes. And then Basically, that's the main one. I could probably pull up the applications that we've solved for. Just give me a minute. Yeah, these are some of the applications. It's basically to detect color marks or slightest color differences. Um, let's say beige and white, which usually a lot of color sensors struggle. But with this color sensor, you can you can differentiate even the slightest difference in shades of colors. And then you can also you can solve applications if there are patterns, materials with different structures or patterns. And this is done with the multi-value teach that I showed you guys on Sopus, where it takes the whole pattern into consideration, or if you move it around, it takes like an area into consideration and then stores it. And then also one of the other application is probably to detect the maturity level on fruits or, roasting degree, example, coffee, etc.
Okay, good. I don't see any other questions coming in, so we can probably move on to the next product suite that you have lined up.
Mhm. Okay, awesome. So the next sensor that I'm going to talk about is our DT80. This is one of our latest distance sensor that came out last year, at the beginning of this year. And so this was mainly made for applications in mobile and stationary applications. And this was for to measure the position on natural targets. This sensor works on time of flight technology, and it is very accurate, even at far distance. So as you can see, DT80, which means that the sensor can go out up to 80 meters, and it's got a minimum offset starting from 50 millimeters. So basically, the range of the sensor starts from 50 millimeters all the way up to 80 meters. And some of the main benefits of this sensor is that it's got an outstanding accuracy. So the accuracies on this sensor is plus minus 2 millimeters at 80 meters. So if you guys have any application where you need to detect something far off and then you need high accuracy, this would be the sensor to go. And then it can do the measurement on natural targets. Also, all kinds of targets that I've tested, it works really well. It has a TFT display on top, and also you can configure the sensor on Sopus as well. It is pretty compact, the size of the sensor, when you actually look at the capabilities of the sensor having range up to 80 meters. So these are some of the same points that we discussed. It's got an accuracy of plus minus 2. It has very high resolution of 0.1 millimeters, and the measurement range starts from 50 to 80,000 millimeters at 90% emission. That is for on white objects, and it goes out to 14,000 millimeters at 6%, which is basically dark objects or black object. Then it comes in a metal housing, And then it has the dimension is 33 by 65 by 57. And the communication interface on the sensor is IO link, analog, and digital output. So it has all the three in one. Right. It uses laser class 2, and you can see the repeatability as well. So if it's a stagnant, you get even better accuracy. It's less than 0.2 millimeters. And it has soapers. I'll probably like set up the sensor. Just give me a couple of minutes to show how you can configure this on soapers. So just wanted to show you guys the sensor. This is the DT80. As you can see, it's metallic. It's pretty compact if you compare to that of any other distance sensor. And then you have the display here with the buttons, which is pretty intuitive, where you can choose. There are multiple options, which I'll show you guys on Sophos. Right?
Does anyone have any questions so far on the distance sensor?
Okay, so it's the interface is kind of similar to the W10 sensor. So as you guys saw on the W10, you can see the live distance. Just moving my hand. Let me put the other screen. Okay. Now you can see the current value when I shoot it on the wall. The distance increases. I bring it closer. Look at the table. It decreases and it starts from 50 millimeters. Yeah. And if you go to the basic settings, you can see the current measured value. You have the cycle time that you can adjust. from 33 milliseconds all the way up to 3000 milliseconds. And then you have an option here where you can switch on and switch off the laser. So now when I switch off the laser, as you guys can see, I don't think there's laser here, right? I can't see the beam. Yes, see. It's another option. And you have the filter option based on the application that you can set into average or medium. Then you have the device access logs option here. Then if you go to the connection options, this is the IO link process data that you can get from the sensor. Then you have the input evaluation, the output evaluation that you can set. This is how you teach it on Sopus. You have different options: single point mode, window mode, and window plus SP1 mode. And you have the analog output that you can set on Sopus as well. You have the diagnostics where you can see if there is any error if there's any fault with the sensor, you would get a notification, and then you have all the other options where you can see what's the temperature on the sensor, etc. So this is the basic overview. I can get in more detail if you guys have any questions, but this is about our new DT80 sensor.
I don't see any questions coming in for this product as well. If you have another product you wanted to discuss, we can move into that as well. I think one of the highlights of the DT80 is the fact it's a laser distance sensor. And it's because it's the time of flight technology it's using, it's very, very robust, and you can actually get very accurate readings for something as simple as, for example, hard to detect objects like black objects. This is a sensor that comes into play with very good accuracy at long sensing ranges. Sandy, we're gonna move to the next item on the list.
Yep. Okay, so if no one has questions, I'll just go to the last sensor that we have. Yeah. Okay, so this is our last sensor. It's called the W4S. And this is the new design for the W4. So this is one of our miniature compact sensor, which comes in all three different principles: background suppression, through beam, and retroreflective. Some of the benefits of this sensor is that, not sure if you guys can see my screen. It's got a push and a pod at once. And the design is even sleeker than the previous one. And this is one of the best sensor for clear object detection, for detecting any transparent objects. And since it's small, it can go to the tiniest spaces. It's pretty easy to install. And then it works great on ambient conditions or where there is too much of light. And if it's difficult, it works great in such conditions. It's easy to set up the sensor. It's pretty straightforward. And it's used in a lot of different applications as shown below, like in consumer goods. It's one of the best sensors to detect anything which is transparent, bottles or semi-transparent. Do you guys have any questions on this?
I'm not seeing any questions coming in on this, Sandy. Can you touch on some of the applications as well that they can actually use more specifically? Because one thing I've learned is with the new shape and design, most sensors obviously have an M12 mounting. This one has an M8 mounting as well for different kinds of mounting for your applications. But the size of the sensor itself works really great for hard to reach areas where otherwise you'd be using a bigger, bulkier sensor. It also got a good IP rating. And when it comes to detecting clear objects, this is one of the best sensors you can possibly use, clear and shiny and transparent objects as well. So if you have some more applications you can talk about, that'll be kind of great. If not, I'm going to look and see if there's any questions coming in. I don't see any more.
Yep, on the M8, Sydney, I think this comes in M8, but if there's M12, we can provide an adapter that connects to the M12.
Okay, I just want to take this moment then, if there's no more questions coming in. Really thank you guys for joining us this morning. We need to be anywhere else. So thank you for taking some time and joining this webinar that we have. The whole idea, like I said earlier, is basically the goal is to get these sessions and just kind of share some of the newer products that we have. Today, we're just kind of focusing some of the photo eyes that are actually out there that are new and that might have something novel. And for example, W10 being the first touchscreen sensor of its kind, first ever, and then some of the other sensors such as the DT80 as far as detecting longer sensing ranges with darker objects, the color sensors for your harder sensing and longer ranges as well, and then the new W4S next generation sensors with its shape and size, and also the fact that you can detect difficult applications such as your clear and transparent in glasses. So that being said, thank you so much for joining us. Again, like I mentioned earlier, these are all sensors that actually have an all control at our facility. We can come to your office and do a demo test out at your location, whatever specific application you might have that you might be having difficulties with. I can come in there and we can prove out your applications and test them out. Also, with the W10 sensor, I just want to say these are all very readily available sensor we have. We actually even have them stocked locally at the office here in Elgin at All Control. So by all means, please reach out to your sales representative if you want to see these sensors proved out at your office as well.